This Week in Connecticut with Dennis House starts now.
Welcome to This Week in Connecticut. Greetings, everyone, and thanks for joining us. I'm Dennis House. Straight ahead today, from speeders to license plates to digital registrations. What's new at the DMV? Commissioner Tony Guerrera joins us. With summer approaching, we'll meet the first select woman of a quaint beach town, Martha Shoemaker of Old Lyme. Learn about Connecticut's new Oyster Trail with Chief Marketing Officer Anthony, and celebrating a political giant of Connecticut history, Ella Grasso. First up today, the Department of Motor Vehicles. It is a totally different agency these days, and not your father's DMV. Commissioner Guerrera, thank you so much for being with us here today.
Thank you for having me.
And it's about 1 year in the job now. How does it feel?
A little over a year, and it's been great. It's been an experience, Dennis, a lot of challenges, but we've done a pretty good job, I think, at the DMV in regards to the appointment system, getting people in and out, talking about safety for our roads. So we've been quite busy over the last year and a half.
We used to get so many complaints about the DMV. We don't get them anymore.
I'm telling you, it's
funny.
Why
is that?
Dennis, it's funny you say that, because as a former legislator on the Transportation Committee, that was the #1 issue, was the complaints at the DMV. Today, I don't think I hear anything from my colleagues or from the administration or constituents. They all say it's a pleasure to come to the DMV now.
So you had said that you wanted more things to be done online so people can renew things from home. Are there any things that you still need to get on there?
Yes, we're going to do like a placard now. The handicap placards will be done online.
Okay.
We've done boat registrations online. Insurance compliance is coming in regards if you have some discrepancies with your insurance because you can't register your car because you allow it to lapse. That's going to be done online. Many things are done online, but we can't forget that we still have people coming in because they have some complicated issues that you can't do online, and therefore it's best you come in, deal with it, some of the people at our branches throughout the state of Connecticut, and get them resolved.
How's the teen licensing thing working? Do people still have to come in? Obviously, they have to come in person for that because they have a test and all that.
It's been good, and it's funny, Dennis, because I know we talked about this. We saw a little bit of a drop with teens in regards during the COVID years, I think, in regards to getting a license.
Interesting.
And we're seeing the numbers starting to creep back up again. But it's a different generation, too, I think, compared to somebody like yourself and me, that we couldn't wait to get behind the vehicle to get our license.
Yeah, why do you think that is? Is it perhaps the price of cars and maybe people don't drive as much as they used to? I don't know.
I think it's technology. I really do. I think that today's generation rather sit in the passenger seat, deal with their phone or their iPad, where we felt as though we didn't have that at that time. We couldn't get behind of a vehicle with a shifter and just enjoy the open air concept, and it was just a different generation.
Looking at the past year on the job, is there anything you noticed that needs to be addressed or changed?
I think when you look at it overall, we'd like to do more things online, but also what we noticed over the last year is that, you know, Dennis, as the population gets older, a lot of us don't use computers. And we felt as though that's a disadvantage for our senior population. So what we ended up doing is having a mobile unit, going out to senior centers, going out to municipalities, allowing them to register their vehicle or get their license. And if they don't want their license, to get an ID, so therefore they can use it no matter what they need to do.
You know, we talk about older, it is an aging population, and a lot of older drivers are perhaps turning in their licenses. Is there a test that older folks can take? Or, yeah, I know there are some people who, it's a delicate issue. If you have an older parent who maybe shouldn't be driving anymore.
You know, you hit the nail on the head. It's a very delicate issue. We've dealt with this many times because some people say, listen, the senior population drives much better than the younger population. We're more careful. I think it's up to the families to really sit down with their elderly parents and really talk about it, that there's a certain time that they may need to turn in their license and understand that, you know, that you can't get behind the wheel. And I encourage that for a lot of family members to have those conversations.
You know, one of the problems we've been noticing, and we spoke to state police about this, is, you know, people are getting pulled over for speeding, but it's not just going 10 miles over. There are some people getting busted going 120 miles an hour, which is crazy. What happens to that person as they go through the system after you get a ticket like that?
Well, let's put it this way. If you're going, there's a certain speed limit. Once you go over, you lose your license and you have to go through the whole program, whatever it is. But it's funny because when you say that people are driving much faster, I don't know what's happened over the last couple years, Dennis, but it seems like you're doing 65 and it looks like we're standing still with some of these vehicles that are going by. And I don't know if it's these cars are faster or just disregarded the speed limit.
And if they get pulled over by state police and they are going, let's say 120, I know that they usually seize the car right there, right? They tow it away and
seize the license, and then they have to go through the whole process because they lose their license now. And especially depending on the age too, if you're under 18, you might lose your license for a number of years before you get that back.
There's been a little talk about lowering the blood alcohol level to make it tougher for drunk drivers. Does the DMV have an official stance on that?
Well, again, whatever the law is, you have to come in front of us. It's two separate systems. You've got the judicial system and you got the per se system, which is us. So no matter what happens, if you get pulled over for a DUI, you're getting a device on your vehicle for 1 year if it's your first offense. Second offense, it's longer. Third offense, you lose your license.
What is the situation with EVs and registrations of them? Are they going up or are they flat?
We've seen an increase over a number of years, probably over the last 3 or 4 years, obviously. Okay. But will I say, has it gone up drastically, Dennis? No. I mean, people are getting some more. I think hybrids are the big popular ones today.
Okay.
EVs, again, I think some people are just, you know, a little concerned about whether they have the infrastructure to put in place. But as you know, that they're working on that, and maybe in the future we'll see a lot more being registered.
I know some states have special license plates for EVs. Do you see that happening in Connecticut?
We haven't talked about that yet, but never say never.
And I know some states are also looking at digital license plates, right?
Yeah.
Which could be changed in a moment in the whole bit. Yeah. How does that exactly work, and are they practical?
I don't know. I mean, it's a good point because that did come up at one of our sessions that we had with our executive team. And I'm a little bit concerned with that, Dennis, with the digital license plates, because I don't know who has control of those digital license plates. Can it be hacked in right away to change the numbers, going through different states and so forth? So we have to be very cautious before we move to something like that.
People are kind of funny about their license plates. Is the design going to stay the same, or is it changing at all?
The design is
it's been steady for a while.
It's been, yeah. And people love their license plates, certain names on it or whatever it is.
People want to steal blue and white ones.
Oh, remember the blue and white ones?
You still see them on some cars, which I know isn't legal, but, but some people still have them on there.
You know, they're an icon.
They certainly are. All right, Tony Guerrera, he is the commissioner of the DMV. We thank you so much for being with us here today.
Thank you, Dennis.
We have much more when we come back, including heading to this coastal town behind me. Can you guess where it is? We'll be right back.